Okay, part 2 of policies. Okay, safety, and that covers a lot of things. Safety in the field is really important, and we expect agencies to train our students about their safety policies, to understand, what their protocols are, and we also require students to do a safety discussion guide in term 1 of both levels. And so, just all kinds of things that they would probably not think about asking. And now, because of COVID, we're also wanting them to know what happens if they get sick, if they have a fever. We want the student to understand very clearly what the agency expects from them. We provide that safety discussion guide so the students use that during supervision to ask questions. There is a page on the end of the discussion guide that is their contact information for online students. It is even more important that we have that in case something were to happen. You would be able to get in touch with them. I suggest that you get their emails, and not their emails, their phone number the first day of class. But that last page of the safety guide does have some contact information. It is really important that the field instructor knows that if there are any significant safety issues in the field, you need to know about those. For example, if a client was restrained and the student saw it and was bothered, that's something you really need to know. The student needs to know how to report safety issues, who to report them to. Please let me know if there are any safety issues in the agency. I really, really need to know that. So, for example, if there's a bomb threat and they have to do a bomb protocol, that's really important for us to know, just so we can follow up to make sure the student is okay. So safety is very important, and we want to always keep our antennas up about any kind of safety issue that might be happening. If the agency does not have very clear COVID protocols, it would behoove us to know that too, so that if the student gets sick, we know how to direct them. When liaisons ask me now, like, students at home sick, what do I tell them to do? I first say, ask the agency what they want them to do. If the student tested positive for COVID, the agency does not have protocols, we do not want to send the student back. So again, all of these things run by me, but I want you to be aware of the safety issues. Okay, another big one is Title IX. We are mandated reporters, and Baylor has sent out some pretty clear language to that point. Here is when we make a report. If a student discloses stalking, harassment, assault during their time at Baylor, the alleged offender does not have to be a Baylor student, but it does have to happen while they're a student at Baylor. If they tell their field instructor, the field instructor is a mandated reporter, and you are more than welcome to help them make that report. It's at I put the website in the module. It's very easy to do so. They were working on their website to update the electronic reporting, and I think that's probably done by now, but I would offer to help make the report if I were you, but make sure that you do make the report if it's disclosed in class. When field instructors take our training, they are very well informed of Title IX. And I've had a lot of liaisons say, hey, this is what the student said, is this a Title IX report? And I direct them which way it could go. Okay, travel. This may not be a huge issue now because not many people are traveling, but if there's a huge conference, the student wants to travel, what we ask is that anybody who has power over the student does not share a hotel room with the student. They can travel with the supervisor in the car, but we ask that we don't share rooms if somebody has authority or power. Holidays and weather. We're going to do, this is a sort of a case by case in some ways because of the COVID situation. But the general rule is if the agency has a holiday off and Baylor has a holiday off, for example, Martin Luther King Day, then the student does not have to count hours. If the agency has a holiday off and Baylor doesn't, then they do have to go back and make up those hours. So it basically has to be on both ends. If the agency and Baylor have the day off, which is pretty rare, it's really Martin Luther King Day, and of course Christmas holidays, which they're not in session for. But otherwise, they have to make up those days. Okay, so that is holidays, weather, case by case. Hurricane Harvey is an example. We had to really work with students about making up hours then. Just talk to me about that. And then social media. We ask that students do not friend their supervisors or anybody in power on Facebook or any other social media platform. And we also ask that they not post anything about their internship on social media. They can do so after they're finished their internship, but not during the placement. There's no agency info, of course, no client info, not even events of the agency. So that's a pretty strict rule, but that has really caused some problems. And so that is our social media policy. And then lastly, the reporting of incidents. If anything happens that you think rises to the level of like, hey, Leanne should probably know this, then just send me an email or call, and we will, make a note if we need to, or follow up with the student if we need to. Or if it's something with the agency that doesn't feel right, we want to follow up with them too, administratively, not just you. So I wanted to say that. Also, one other side note about travel and conferences, there are sometimes funds available for students if they want to go to a conference and can't afford it. So just let me know about that. Very small amount of funds, but they do fill out a form and sort of apply for it, and we can make that happen. So that is part 2 of policies. Let me know if you have any questions. This is all in the field manual, but sometimes I know people like to hear it better from audio. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.